Hello there, Itro here. Today we're going to be going over the game mechanic of Harbour Activity. Harbour Activity is a bonus stat that you can apply with people in your Harbour Masters slots that will give extra trade through passive trade that happens at your harbours. So what sort of items are we going to be talking about? So if we do Control and T and bring up the in-game items section and we do Harbour items, Harbour Activity. These are the main items you can have. There is a sixth one, however this is only available from the quest from the Queen and it's a one-time item, so we're not going to go over that. So if we have a look at each of these people here, Harbour Activity. Every time passive trade happens at the trading post, there is a chance of gaining 5 tons of a certain item. For her it's ceramics, tapestries, clay pipes, scripts and lanterns. We have various food and drink produce from her. We have weapons and advanced weapons, more weapons and advanced weapons, and dynamites and sails. Extra coinage coming in, and grapes, hops, potatoes and peppers. So they can be quite useful. Does cover quite a lot of things. So first things first, we need to understand, when did this happen? Through passive trade. What exactly is passive trade? Let's look into this. So, passive trade. It is as it sounds. It is trade that happens passively. It's not trade you're actually doing yourself. It is through NPCs that are coming to your harbour and buying or selling items. So what sorts of NPCs can actually do this? You will have your competitor NPCs, which you will start off with, like Beryl, Bente, Margaret, Silver, and you also have the trader NPCs, people like Madame Kahina, Archibald, Nate, Isabel, not the pirates, and not Eli at the prison. So all those NPCs that come by your harbour that do trade will actually classify as doing passive trade and have the chance to proc the extra goods from the Harbour Activity items. Now, for passive trade to actually happen, you have to specify for goods to be bought or sold from the NPCs. If you don't do this next trick, the AI will not come to your island and start buying or selling items. So what you have to do is go to the main harbour on your island, and then on each of the resources, you need to actually specify whether you're looking to buy, sell, or buy and sell. It's usually better off to have buy and sell, so it basically means that you are going to be reducing your stock to a certain level or increasing it if you're below it. So you've got constant buy or sell trade options. So that gives you a double chance of items to actually proc through the passive trade. So you click on the actual resource, and then the options are buy and sell, and then sell and buy, but we're going to just stick with buy and sell, and we're going to reduce it slightly down from the maximum. So if we are at high max capacity, we'll try to sell down to this amount. However, if we are below it, we'll try to buy the amounts. And you need to do this on all the resources. I would definitely recommend, for a couple of reasons. One, it means you have the best options and most availability of items to be traded. It also means that with the Docklands DLC, you can slowly build up a stockpile of extra goods that you can then barter for items later on. So it's good just to have this constantly ticking over and keeping a maintained amount. So we've added the items into the Harbour Master's office slots here, and we've set our buy and sell options. Now we can actually check on what sort of passive trade we're getting in through the Harbour Masters. So if we're going to Control and W for storage, and we can have a look now on here at passive trade on all goods. So we can actually see passive trade on this harbour. We have items being traded in and out through Tobias, through the trade network that we set up, and we have passive trade for all the items listed down here, and that is for the 2 NPCs that we have left on this map, Kahina and Blake. Now if we had other competitor NPCs in here, they'd also be listed here. So sometimes Having the extra NPCs in here could actually increase the amount of passive trade that can happen and increase the possible chances of items to be traded through Harbour Activity. This is very useful to understand, especially when you're looking at where you're going to be focusing all your items in your Harbour Master offices if you're limited on them. Because if you do it in the Cape and you only have yourself out there, the only possibility you have is Nate that's doing passive trade, and he does it quite slowly, to be fair. So having your Harbour Master items over there could be quite not as efficient as if you had it over in the old world, where even if you didn't have NPCs left, you still have Madame Kahina and Archibald Blake, so twice the options. So having competitor NPCs over here as well would allow us to have access to 5 people. Now for the actual Harbour Master activity, Captain Tobias does not trigger the bonus effect from Harbour Activity. It is only the actual people that are doing passive trade from the actual items you specified in the buy and sell options. So these are the items we're doing. Now on here in the passive trade menu, it does not show us the actual activity from Harbour Activity. Unfortunately, you actually have to just manually check your stocks. So if we have a look over here, we have 5 potatoes. They haven't come in through passive trade, and I haven't got them over here, and I haven't brought them over myself. This has happened through Harbour Activity, and that happened about 80 minutes ago that I had 5 potatoes come in. Remember, it's 5 tons of items that come in through the Harbour Activity. We have a look down at a few other things. Sales again. And hops. Looks like we've had 3 procs of that happening. Now, the weapons, which are a much more valuable commodity for trading. We can actually see we were at 80 and then 90. We've had a double hit on that. They're coming in at a faster rate because we have 2 people in the Harbour Master's activity slot that are bringing in weapons as a byproduct. Now the advanced weapons, as we can see here, again are coming in at a fairly good rate, and they are probably the higher of the items you can use in the global trade network. So definitely I'd recommend stacking the weapons people in the Harbour Activity slots wherever possible, as they have the highest rate of income and the highest outcome for global trade network. So on this island I have set up the Harbour Master items. However, for this example I've not actually set any buy and sell trades, so in theory we should not have any passive trade happening, and we should not have any Harbour Activity procs as well. So we actually have a look at the storage on the island, and we look at stock over time, remembering that we can only see the items coming in on stock, and the weapons, which were coming in quite regularly, nothing, no activity. And again, the advanced weapons, no activity, because we haven't set the buy and sell over here, so we're not having passive trade coming in and procking that actually happening. So as I was saying before, we're in the Cape and we only have Nate over here doing passive trade, so we've halved the effectiveness of the Harbour Activity. So if we have a look here, we have all the items over here, and I have everything on a buy and sell. And if we have a look at the weapons, which were coming in at a fair rate, we are now at we've only had 10, where we had a lot more previously. So you can see, having less NPCs coming through passive trade, it's procking the Harbour Activities quite a lot. So it might be better off having it, as we were saying, on the islands that have the most amount of people on there for passive trade. It could even be beneficial to actually keep an NPC competitor in on the map, even if they only just have one island. If they're coming in for passive trade, that's extra procs. Now, it's also probably a wise idea to actually have this set up on as many islands as you physically can, so you're multiplying the opportunities of passive trade to happen on each island and slowly building up all these extra items. So now if you had this happening on 10 islands, and you're bringing all these weapons and advanced weapons and all the other items in, these are now building up to be a huge stockpile of items that you're getting for free, basically, just through the passive trade Harbour Activity, which you can then start selling for other higher tier items using Docklands DLC. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's video. If you enjoy it, do appreciate any likes and subscriptions on the video and channel, and comment down below if there's any other guides you'd like me to do next. Stay safe out there, and I'll catch you on the next one.